right every time. I don't. I've made thousands of investments. They're not all winners. This one was just, all of us that have talked about this, all of us on that cap table, we've all talked to each other. We're stunned.
Investor Kevin O'Leary provided his most recent assessment of the FTX collapse and his general opinion in an interview with Stanberry Research. Kevin acknowledged his embarrassment at his misfortune but made it clear that the losses he suffered with FTX were entirely his own. Kevin also clarified the situation in a widely shared video in which he pledged to support Sam Bankman-Fried once more, which infuriated both the cryptocurrency community and mainstream media. Kevin's statement came out as a little tone-deaf considering that many people lost their life savings due to what appears to be fraudulent behavior rather than money management mistakes, turning the matter into one of ethics rather than technological error. When SBF was accused of being fake, Kevin claimed he was unaware of the claims and decided not to support him once more. But despite all of the controversy surrounding him, O'Leary maintains his support for cryptocurrency and thinks that, after regulation is ironed out and all the bad guys have been eliminated, it will continue to be the 12th sector of the SP. But until we hear from Snowden, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so we will provide daily content to keep you updated on the latest news.
I've made a comment for years now in the context of entrepreneurs, and particularly broadcasted by Shark Tank for 14 years, that I am not scared of investing in entrepreneurs that have had catastrophic failure, because I find, both for men and women, that the sting of failure really motivates people to figure out what they did wrong and not do it again. That's experience. That's what it is. Now, when that interview was taking place, it was at the beginning of the whole shakeout and the rumor mill of what was going on between Binance and FTX, and so, I didn't know the situation. Now, obviously, Sam is currently not investable while he's under alleged investigation.
Okay.
But so no, I wouldn't do that because I wouldn't be allowed to. But the point was, we were talking about whether or not I would invest in entrepreneurs that have failed, and the answer still is yes. But obviously, the conditions have changed. Remember, this story changes every hour.
Right.
It's still being investigated. So look, I've said to people, look, I'm sorry. Obviously, that was taken out of context, but I just want to make it clear here. I do invest in entrepreneurs that fail. No entrepreneur gets it right every time. So, to me, it doesn't change who I am or what I do or how I support entrepreneurs. But no, I don't investigate in people that are under investigation. I can't, and nor would I. It's now up to Sam Bankman-Fried to clear his name. He knows that. He's going to have to do whatever he can and come out and explain what happened. I want an explanation. Every investor does. I think that's fair. Just to be transparent and open about it. I was an investor in FTX International and an investor in FTX US, and I was a paid spokesperson. And so those are all facts, and I'm living with them every day. This was not one of my good investments. This was a bad investment for a whole host of reasons. Luckily, I'm fortunate that this particular investment, both the ones in FTX, the accounts that I had in FTX with millions of dollars in them, and the ownership of FTX US, was not in a fund that had other LPs. I owned it 100%. We hadn't made the decision to diversify yet. We were waiting to see if FTX would go public and how regulation was going to come forward before we put other people's money at risk. This was all my money. So I'm thankful for that. Of course, I hate losing money, but it's not going to change the way I operate or what I'm going to do tomorrow morning. I'm going to continue to be an investor. This is not about crypto. This is about bad policy, bad regulation or lack thereof, if you want to put it that way, and some very weak compliance management. That's what's happened to these companies. It doesn't change the potential of what crypto is going to be, but certainly it was a hit. There's no question about it. And, it's embarrassing for me, obviously. So much due diligence had already occurred. I mean, if you look at the cap table of who was investors in this company, it's the who's who of financial services. And so I'm one of them. We're all embarrassed. We feel foolish. But luckily, when I look at the long term, thank goodness I make more good investments than bad ones. That's the way I look at it. But it occurs to me, and I have to be honest with you, I think the carnage that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks on digital currencies is going to be a buying opportunity, and I will certainly be buying some Bitcoin and some Ethereum, and probably two others. That was what the team was doing this morning, looking at because every time one of these players goes bankrupt,
Right.
you have to look at it from 2 points of view. You're getting rid of idiot management out of the market, because these guys always blow up because of leverage. They don't know how to manage leverage. You'll find out, I don't care who the player is, when you actually dig into what happened, they blew their brains out on leverage because they didn't have the experience of this kind of volatility. They'll never get financed again, and that's good. They get cleansed out of the market. So then the quality of the teams that are remaining keeps getting better every week. And that's why in a nascent industry like this, in the first inning, you have to think long term. It doesn't change my mind about the potential of crypto and payment systems like stablecoins. I'm still a believer. And I still believe in a decade it will be the 12th sector of the S&P. But between now and then, there'll be opportunity and volatility. So I probably won't catch the bottom, but I got to admit, Bitcoin is starting to look pretty interesting. So I'm just going to hang in there and probably start putting on some positions in the next couple of weeks. There's a lot of tax loss selling going on right now. This is a year where you got to do it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
most of that is over by December 15th. So you're going to tiptoe through the tulips on disaster crypto. Savor the flavor into the early parts of December. I think it gets worse before it gets better. All my gold positions. As a matter of fact, no, it has warmed me up to gold. I mean, here we are, the 1700s, starting to look a bid. There's a bid underneath it. There's no reason not to have a 5% weighting in gold in any portfolio, whether you want to use the GLD or pay for storage of your bullion. You can do both. I do both. Right every time. I don't. I've made thousands of investments. They're not all winners. This one was just, all of us that have talked about this, all of us on that cap table, we've all talked to each other. We're stunned. We're just stunned. But we don't have any answers yet. And so I would actually like to know how this one went down. And there's lots, if you just go online and see the due diligence that was done, it's alleged. Again, I keep saying alleged because the stuff that goes out there on the internet, a lot of this stuff is garbage, but it's alleged that Bain was hired to do the due diligence for Tiger. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than Tiger. And so I'd like to find out more about that. I'd like to find out more about the other members on the cap table. We all look like idiots. And, I'm the first to admit it. I understand how the internet works and how to, people want to say inflammatory things to get more users and rile up I'm a big boy on this stuff. I have to be honest with you without sounding trite. It's all noise to me. It's just Rabini, that's just noise. This Bitbozo guy, that's just noise. I don't care. But at the end of the day, it's got to be facts. The whole thing has to be driven by the truth. And we don't have it yet. So I'd like to get the truth. That's what I'm after. And, there's no question. All of the paid spokespersons, including me and Tom Brady and Seth Curry and Giselle and right down the list, we're all being sued. During that process, we're going to get to the truth. Litigation scrapes to the truth, and that's what's going to happen. Look, I would have rather not been involved in this, but it doesn't change anything I do, and it doesn't change my policy of transparency. And if people want to be crazy online, I've been watching this for years. I mean, it's noise, and I tell my whole team it's noise. I tell my kids it's noise. You have to have thick skin to do what I do. You're talking revenue, but you're not including all of the promotions that are occurring in the middle of the income statement. There's a lot of promos, a lot of sales, a lot of tweaking to move inventory. So what I'm concerned about and why I bring caution to that excitement around these record numbers is it may be because there was so much promotion going on, it's going to show up in squeezed margins. And so at the end of the day, when you look at retail, you want to see what happened to the margins. I don't think they're going to be as healthy as they were in the middle of the pandemic because of the amount of promotion that was occurring. Remember, we've got 3 extra sales days. There's also a challenge on some inventory items. Clearly, the supply chain issues around tech and semiconductors still are going to put pressure on some items ordered now, may not get delivered on time. A bunch of stuff like that, but mostly we haven't seen the margins yet. And my sense, and I watched for this right through the weekend, I got hit just like you did with thousands of emails about get 20 off, get 30 off, get 40 off, get 50 off, buy one, get one free. That was not present last year. It's clear to many people now that you can get exposure to digital tokens and currencies with a matter of only 4 or 5 different positions because they're so interrelated. They're so correlated. So these 10,000 tokens, I think the majority of these are going to go away. If you want exposure to Bitcoin, you can do it with a position in Bitcoin itself, maybe some Ethereum, maybe some Polygon if you want a level 1 on top of payment systems of Ethereum, and maybe one other if you wished. But you don't need to hold 20 positions. And so I think there's going to be a concentration on where these assets are stored now and what is actually held. Certainly, we don't need 32 anymore. We're going to reduce down significantly, but we're going to keep our position on, but we're really culling through the portfolio now as we move it all up into Canada.
Do you agree that price doesn't matter in the short term? Leave a comment if you found the content interesting. Click in like button. It really helps the channel find viewers similar to you. If you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed to it, click in subscribe button. We post content daily to keep you up to date on the current market and news. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.